It's my pleasure to welcome everyone to the 2017 Clockwinding. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to make this a special event. I'm going to just introduce a couple of VIPs and then turn it over to Dave Hawker, who's the president of the association this year. And the VIPs are Callum. And everyone has heard my introduction of Callum already, so I don't need to record it for YouTube now. So thank you, Callum, for taking the time to make the trip. It's great to meet you. Lizzie, thank you also too for bringing Callum. I appreciate that very much. And everyone has met Ruth as well. So I know that the family had plans to come over to the United States, but I don't think it was exactly as they had originally intended. So I'm grateful to Marc for making it happen. There's nothing easy about it. If you were coming by yourself, it would be difficult, but traveling with the extended family is a lot of different schedules and trying to fit it in. It's not easy, considering the fact that a few days before there was a windstorm that blew all the foliage down, so I'm sorry you won't see any of the great foliage or something like that, but I hope you enjoy the trip, the visit to Mystic, and your time back in the city as well. Thank you. I'd like to also introduce Nick Rosa. Nick is the first time to the office, and he is a part of the Cable Components Group. He's also recognized in the October issue of Hot Shots. So it's an issue that Karen and Marc put together, and Nick is one of the young people that's called out in the magazine. His background is pretty impressive, and I know everyone's had a chance to say hello to Nick. But this is his first time at headquarters and first time at Clockwinding. So just so you know, the beer and the prosciutto is not typical, Thursday afternoon type of stuff. So,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you, and congratulations, Nick.
You just have the wine, you skip the food.
With that, Dave Hawker, please.
Okay, well, obviously, welcome to the family, to the Wire Association, to our new office, head office. We own multiple properties still, so we're a successful real estate venture company. As you know, the clock was a gift from the UK wires industry in 1948. It's as I read, it's a little bit older than 1948, and we've celebrated every year with having a representative from the UK. I think other than 1 year, come in and celebrate the winding of the clock. It's a 400-day clock, so it should last until the next person from the UK comes over. We certainly want to thank Marc and his family for joining us for this event. And I think if you could join me and, yep, I assume wind the clock. I'm not sure. Oh, okay.
Clockwise, I assume?
Yeah. Almost there. There you go. Look at that.
Done?
Yes. Yep. There you go.
Perfect.
Thank you. I'm glad I'm not any shorter. Should have a stretcher.
Thank you very much. I think John was going to.
Oh, sorry. Actually, I think Marc's going to speak first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay, sorry.
This will be very short. First of all, thank you to the WAI for inviting me and and subsequently my family to participate in this fantastic tradition. It's an honour for me personally and for our company to be part of it. I'd like to thank Steve and all his staff for organising our stay in Madison. I don't think we could have wished for a better hotel, and weather-wise a fabulous day. Slightly spoiled now by the fact we've got a flat tyre. Hey ho, that's life. Last week Steve sent me an earlier YouTube video from 2013 when Jonathan Rigby was here, and it set me thinking, metaphorically speaking, are all the winders dead men walking? Hope not. The reason I say this is that I can guess that the vast majority of those that have wound the clock in recent years were or are associated with companies that are no longer in existence, and Jonathan sadly falls into that category on two counts. His family company was gone, and the company Foxwire that he represented in 2013 closed in 2014. I joined the wire industry in 1994. It wasn't straight out of school. Having been in the steel stockholding industry since leaving school. When I started my wire career, there were around 10 stainless wire drawing mills in the UK, and now there are only 2. The UK's largest steel producer had 3 mills producing 120,000 tonnes per annum, and they don't exist at all anymore. In my nearly 25 years in wire, the UK production has fallen dramatically in all metals and is now a mere shadow of its former self, and I guess you guys can identify with that a little bit over here as well. Over 70% of the UK's wire requirement comes from imported product, primarily from Europe, but specifically in stainless steel from India and the Far East. I started work on April the 3rd, 1994 at Winterbottom Wire in a sleepy little village called Oxspring, about 14 miles north of the steel city of Sheffield, where stainless steel was invented. Now, I've said this before, and somebody in Germany said, no, it wasn't. I'm sure somebody over here is going, but we're clinging on to the fact that Brearley invented stainless steel in Sheffield, which is in the north of England, for those that don't know it. The company itself, the original company, started in Oxspring in 1858 when George Winterbottom brought his cottage industry to the village to make use of the water power provided from the River Don. The works was previously a corn mill. In 1894, with the financial support of Samuel Fox, which later became Foxwire, where Jonathan worked, a steelmaker in the next valley, the company expanded and began to sell its wire into the Midlands of the UK, the beating heart of the UK's industry. One of its customers then was the English Needle Company, and now, 125 years later, we still supply them with wire for the production of hand sewing needles. In 2003, due to circumstances outside its control, Winterbottom slipped into administration. At the time, it employed 84 people and was by far the largest employer in the surrounding area. Faced with unemployment, the Managing Director and myself bought some of the assets of the company, and with a business plan written on the back of a cigarette packet, started Wintwire with 5 operatives manufacturing profile wire. By a quirk of fate, the site was bought by another wire company manufacturing baling wire, which seems to be the only thing that's growing at the moment with refuse the way it is, and they offered us the opportunities to remain on site as a tenant. This was a massive advantage to us, as part of the mill they rented to us contained the batch furnaces and the effluent cleaning plant, and it meant that we could consider re-entering some of the markets previously held by the original company. In the summer of 2007, the north of England was hit by torrential rainstorms, the like of which had never been seen before, and on June the 12th, the River Don, the reason the company had moved to Oxspring, burst its banks, putting the whole of the factory 18 to 20 inches below water. It left us as a fledgling company fighting for survival. I took the decision to buy out my partner and continue on my own. My youngest son Ben joined the company in 2010 to help develop the sales. In 2012, despite having built a flood barrier, the once-in-a-lifetime event of 2007 happened again. Breaching the barrier built to hold it back, and we were back at square one. With the experience of 2007, we were able to recover much more quickly, and with the commitment of the workforce, we were back up and running within a week of the event. The first signs of prolonged rainfall now always bring fear and a sweat that I can't get rid of. Wintwire now employs 28 people and is a specialist manufacturer of both round and profile wire in multi-metals. Our USP is that we make what the customer wants to buy and not what the manufacturer wants to make. The global market has changed, and many wire manufacturers have gone down the route of a big investment in faster machines, making wire in larger packs to be supplied in larger volumes. This has created something of a void for the customers who, for a number of reasons, can't or don't want to buy large quantities or large pack sizes, and that is where we have scored most of our successes. We consider ourselves a bespoke supplier. Some of our orders are as small as £25, 12 kilos. We do not have a single customer who represents more than 6% of our turnover. 70% of our production is for the domestic market, but we sell specialist product in the US, India and China. One of our specialities is we roll model rail track profile. And we have a customer in the US called Micro Engineering who make anything from code 250 down to code 55, very, very small wire. Currently, as a business, our biggest concern is Brexit. I'm sure you're aware that Britain voted to come out of the European Union, and that will be happening sometime in the next, within 18 months now. And although we only export a relatively small amount to Europe, many of our customers do export finished product, and it is the uncertainty of this which creates insecurity in the market. However, both this and potential flooding are largely out of our control, and therefore we will continue to do the very best we can to grow our business wherever we can. We constantly punch above our weight and look forward to a strong future for the business and all our employees. And hopefully one day I might get invited back to do it again. Once again, thanks for the invitation and the opportunity to be part of this fabulous tradition. Thank you.